Welcome to the physics class. We shall begin today with the topic waves. I know most of you must have heard of the word waves, but generally, when one hears of waves, the first thing they can ever think of is water moving from the ocean to crash to the beach. There are lots of waves happening around us in our everyday lives. Picture someone moving their hand back and forth to say hello, or water moving from the ocean to crash to the beach, or water forming circular patterns when a stone or any other object is dropped into it. All these are examples of everyday observation of waves, as can be seen in Figure 1. The circular patterns are as a result of a stone or any other object that must have been dropped into the water, causing the waves to move in that manner. Figure 2 is also an example of waves, but in this case, the waves are traveling from the ocean to the beach of the ocean. Now, what actually can you say a wave is? If you are asked to define a wave, what can you say? A wave is a traveling disturbance that can either travel through space or through a medium, transferring energy from one place to another. Now, as can be seen from the two pictures in front of you, Figure 3 and Figure 4 are all examples of waves. They both are traveling from their initial positions, that is from where they were produced, to the beach of the ocean. The waves were actually produced and are traveling to a different direction. So that is why we say a wave is a traveling disturbance, because as they travel, they cause disturbances. And a wave can either travel through space, that we normally call a vacuum, or through matter. Matter can either be air or water. When we say a wave is traveling, it means the disturbances produced do not stay in position. They go to cause further disturbances, and it continues in this manner. And the particles, together with the medium that carry the particles, do not move. That is, they do not change their positions when a wave passes through them. When a wave actually passes through a medium, be it air or water, the medium itself can oscillate. Yes, the particles in the medium can oscillate, no doubt, but what they do not do is to move from exactly where they are to a new position. The particles and the medium only experience oscillations or vibrations when the wave passes by. And this is because a wave transfers energy. When a wave flows, it transfers energy from wherever it is to wherever it is going. So it is this energy that might cause the particles to vibrate or oscillate, and it is this same energy that might cause the medium through which the wave passes to vibrate or oscillate. But they do not change their positions from where they are. Now, look at the two pictures in front of you, figure 5 and figure 6. In figure 5, you can see the wave traveling from the left to the right. The direction of one molecule of water in the blue arrow, the direction of the boat in the red arrow, and the direction of flow of energy in the green arrow. Now, this is to explain that the wave is traveling from the left to the right. As it travels, it transfers energy from the left to the right. But the molecules of the water, together with the boat, they only stay where they are. The only thing they can do is to vibrate or oscillate in the same position. That is, they do steady oscillations or steady vibrations, but they do not change their position from wherever they are to a new position. The same explanation goes with figure 6. When a pulse is produced, energy is produced too, and they together move towards the wall where the mass is attached. But the particles of the rope or the rope itself does not change. Their positions do not change. Where they were before the wave was produced is exactly where they are and where they will still be when the wave is produced and after the wave is produced. It is the wave that moves with the energy, but the particles and the medium do not move, as can be clearly seen from figure 5 and figure 6. Now, let's consider a slinky spring. A slinky spring is a spring that can actually stretch or compress, and it's also a spring where you can make it to move like a snake. That's the picture in front of you. If the spring is made to move sideways, probably let's take from the left side, the next turn is caused to make a sideways movement. This is because of the energy transfer from the initial position. That is, when the spring is displaced from left, the turn immediately after the previous turn gains energy and is also forced to do the sideways movement. Successive turns are forced to automatically move sideways due to the transfer of energy from one turn to the other. So when the spring is pulled sideways, successive turns automatically move sideways too. Some seconds later, not at the same time, right up to the last turn. Now, let's consider the diagram that will be displayed in front of you. The diagram generally has 6 springs labeled from spring 1 to spring 6, and it is divided into figure A and figure B. When the spring is displaced to move up and down from initial position as in spring 1, it causes a disturbance which transfers energy to the next turn, causing it to automatically move as seen in spring 2. This in turn transfers energy to the next turn, which causes it to move as seen in spring 3. This continues in this manner right up to the last as in spring 5. This continuous energy transfer causes the spring to make a continuous but steady up and down movement as is shown in spring 6. Now, when a disturbance is produced, generally energy is transferred from its initial point to another point. Consider the diagram in front of you. Points A and C are initially at rest. When the spring is moved or displaced from the left end, a disturbance, that is a wave, is produced. This wave transfers energy from where it is produced to points initially at rest all along the spring. That is points A and C. When this energy is transferred to the points initially at rest, that is A and C, they automatically move to points B and D respectively. That is, points A and C that were at rest gain energy and are set to motion, moving to points B and D respectively. But remember that the particles do not change their positions to a new position. They only make a steady sideways movement. The same concept holds for a spring that is caused to do an up and down movement. Sideways movement goes with the same explanation as up and down movement. We come to the end of our lesson today, and we shall continue next class to talk more about categories of waves.